I was going to ask you like how optimistic you were, because we're on this weird trajectory because we've been doing this for 15 years. And so, things have not gotten a lot better. And I was going to ask you if you were optimistic about things, and it
I'm going
doesn't
to
sound
take
like
it
you are.
I'm going to. You're right, but I need to comment on that. But I just want to note things are better today than 5 years ago. The amount of fight in America from the right is greater today than it was then.
You think? Really?
There's no doubt in my mind. More Americans are aware that defund the police is a sick idea than a few years ago, than after George Floyd's death.
Okay.
That more Americans believe that having men who say they're women in women's locker rooms and competing in women's sports is a truly sick idea. Mm-hmm. There has to be something wrong with you to believe that that is okay. Mm-hmm. You are defective.
Yeah.
It's not, I listen, I'm for capital punishment, but I won't say if you're against capital punishment, you're defective. I just think you're wrong. Mm-hmm. But you're defective if you think it is okay for men to compete with women. There is something wrong with the way you think. There's something defective with your conscience.
100%.
That's not a debatable issue. Capital punishment is a debatable issue.
Mm-hmm. Biology is not.
Right.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And fairness. I mean, the most elementary notion of fairness.
Yes.
As to my optimism, so I'm asked this all the time. So here's my answer. I have no use for optimism and I have no use for pessimism. I only care if you'll fight. And pessimists don't fight and optimists don't fight. The optimist thinks things will turn out fine, or it's all in God's hands, and I'm a deeply religious person. I have a 4 out of 5 volume Bible commentary out. People could check it out, the Rational Bible. My life is committed to publicizing and bringing the insights of the Bible to people. But this notion, it's all in God's hands. Well, if it's all in God's hands, don't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Watch TV. Well, what does that mean? It's all in God's hands. I don't know where people got that idea from. It's not biblical. I don't know where they got such a stupid idea. Oh, really? So then why should I do anything if it's all in God's hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why even pray? Why, if it's all in God's hands, don't even bother praying?
Yeah.
You're not going to influence him. He's already made up his mind.
Mm-hmm. There are so many...
It drives me crazy. So I have no use for optimism or pessimism. If you're a pessimist and you'll fight, fine. If you're an optimist and you fight, fine. Will you fight for freedom and for America? Mm-hmm. All those guys buried at Normandy Beach, I don't know how many of them were optimists. Most of them peed in their pants when they went onto Normandy Beach. Mm-hmm. Optimists don't pee in their pants, but they fought the Nazis. We have to fight our version of evil. It's leftism in America, not liberalism. Liberals are weak, but they're not evil. Leftists are evil.
How do you get people to not be afraid? Because, we hear from people all the time who they agree with us. They watch our show. They're constantly telling us, yeah, you said it or whatever. I mean, they believe in what we are talking about, what we're fighting for, but they're like, but I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to get canceled. Yeah. How do you stress the importance of speaking out?
That's another issue that I've dealt with a lot. So I've been talking about courage all of my broadcast life, 40 years, and it's the most important trait in making a good world. So finally, I decided to give a speech how to become courageous, and it's my bottom line. Almost sounds simplistic. It is simple, but it's not simplistic. We are what we want to be. That's a general rule in life. If you want to be kind, the odds are you'll be kind. If you want to be courageous, the odds are you'll be courageous. If you just decide, I will be courageous, that's it. There are people who fear flying. The only way to overcome fearing flying is to get on a damn airplane.
Maybe not Boeing, though. Just
Okay, that's another matter.
Yeah.
It's very, look, I just flew 30 hours from Africa.
Oh my gosh.
So I live on airplanes. I don't care who makes them, but it's a tragedy what's happened to Boeing. I agree with you. But I deal with the issue if people fear flying. What you decide is, I will fly. I do want to visit my kids in another state. I will fly. I do want to see the world. I will fly. So what you do is you figure out, what will it take? Sleeping pills. That's an example of what it will take. Excuse me. 30 hours of flying gets you stuffed.
Totally.
But another thing, bring two friends. Do what it takes to undo your fears. I fully acknowledge, I don't need to travel with friends or sleeping pills. In fact, I fall asleep. I'm so relaxed on planes, I fall asleep before they take off. I'm not joking with you. To me, an airplane is just a bus that flies. So I'm lucky. I don't have that battle, but everybody has these battles. And now, if you're really going to lose your income if you speak out, I can't say to you glibly, okay, lose your income. Okay, most people will not lose their income. Mm-hmm. Most people will lose some friends, but you want to lose those friends.
Exactly.
I don't understand why you want to fake who you are to keep your buddies.
Exactly.
So the advantage, one of the many advantages of speaking out, is that when you come out of the closet, you not only make enemies, you make friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because then kindred spirits will know you exist, and you will be a happier human.
Rough Greens, which is the green powder for your dog's nutrition and health. This is a nutritional supplement for your dog that was created by naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black to make your dog live their longest, bestest lives. And he's packed it full of essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and digestive enzymes, all of which contribute to things like your dog having more energy, or your dog's coat getting shinier, or your dog's breath getting better. All of these things actually contribute to your dog living longer lives, because what it does is, when you sprinkle it on their dry kibble, it brings that kibble to life. It brings that dry, dead kibble to life. It's amazing, and it tastes delicious, and your dogs will love it. And you can try it for free. You can get a free Jumpstart trial bag at roughchicks.com. That's RUFF chicks.com. Rough Chicks.
We were waiting.
.com.
I'm always astounded that parents are afraid to speak out on our side. Like, parents, especially on our side of the aisle, are afraid of speaking out. Because I'm like, I think being a mom is one of the things that gave me even more courage than I had before. Because now I'm like, I have things to fight for. So I'm always like, why don't you want to fight for your kids? Especially when it comes to the transgender issue. I'm just bewildered that these people are just
afraid.
Like, oh.
People are afraid of being unpopular.
It's
that ridiculous. I don't have sympathy with. I have sympathy
either.
with those who will lose a job.
Yeah, I guess
I do not have sympathy. First of all, if you're at all God-centered, you should only fear God.
Right.
Fear God is the great antidote to fearing people.
Mm-hmm.
I fear God, and that's it. Okay? It's unbelievably liberating. I sleep like a baby. I am wildly hated. I am wildly loved. And as I tell people all the time, if you let the compliments go to your head, you will let the insults go to your heart. So the compliments don't go to my head, and the insults don't go to my heart. I have to answer to God and be admired, hopefully, by my kids and my wife.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and so does everybody else. Everybody else has to answer to God. So you think that a lot of people would be thinking, maybe I should concentrate on that instead of concentrating on what everybody else thinks of me. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of...
I just want to say, does God think men give birth?
Exactly.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a big circle of liberal friends? I'm curious now that because I was going to say because is it
I
because
have a big circle. I have a big circle of liberal relatives. I'm Jewish after all.
Right. How do you explain that? Like, what is this? Why is it such a monolithic group vote?
Yeah, well, first, it's not monolithic. So this is important for your listeners to understand. Religious Jews are overwhelmingly conservative. Overwhelmingly. Religious Jews are even more conservative voting-wise than evangelical Christians. 90% of Orthodox Jews vote Republican. So the Jews who believe the Torah is from God are all conservative. The Jews who believe that that men wrote the Torah, that's the first 5 books of the Bible, they are overwhelmingly liberal. Why Jews vote that way I can't explain it. It might take too long, but please understand. This is what I always explain this to Christians because much of my life is with Christians in the Christian world. And see, when a Christian leaves Christianity, he's no longer called a Christian. When a Jew leaves Judaism, he's still called a Jew. Mm. That's the difference. It's a very big difference. There are as many people who came from Christian roots who are now leftists as Jews who came from Jewish roots are leftists. But the Jews are called Jews and the Christians are called leftists.
Right.